Hi everybody, this is Angie from Tourangie.com. As you can tell, I'm stopped at the second here on Route 219. I was just getting my camera set back up. We've been stopped here for, 45 minutes due to an accident. There was a helicopter. You could have seen that in my last video that I put up here uh, that I released a couple days ago. But today, this video is dedicated to Greenbrier County because even though we're in Monroe County right now, when we get to the top of this curved hill ahead of me, we're in Greenbrier County. So let's talk about this county. First off, it's one of my favorite counties in West Virginia. I'm so glad that I grew up in southern West Virginia because I tell you, like I'm from Mercer County and I'm always going to love it, but Greenbrier probably is my favorite county. I know, shame on me. I love Mercer County, but I love Greenbrier County too. There is so much neat stuff. So we are in Greenbrier County. We're going to talk a little bit about history and what makes Greenbrier County so awesome in this little video. You might hear some noises in the background. It's thundering where I'm at, and I have some crazy dogs who are scared of thunder. So you might hear some boom booms in the background or some dogs making some noises. But let's talk about some history of Greenbrier County. So 1777, October of 1777, Greenbrier County was created by the Virginia General Assembly. Basically from parts of Montgomery County and Botetourt County, and it was named after the Greenbrier River. And those that are from this area or know anything about the state of West Virginia, the Greenbrier River is a tributary of the New River. It's 173 miles long and basically starts in Durban, which is north of Greenbrier County, but it flows through Pocahontas County, then through Greenbrier County, then on to Summers County. At Hinton, basically, is where it meets up with the New River. So that's why Greenbrier County is called Greenbrier County. It's because of the Greenbrier River. One of the main things that happened during the 1700s when this area started to become popular due to the western migration of people. Most of the time, everything was to the east of the Appalachian Mountains, but after like 1750, people started coming west. And there was many Indians or Native Americans in the area. There were many Indian attacks in this area. In fact, Cornstalk. You've always heard of Chief Cornstalk. Well, he was in this area and he uh, was the main one to be involved in a massacre of some of the people who had came over during this western migration at some of the settlements, this one was at Alderson where Cornstalk was. We're going to talk about that in a future video when I'm in Alderson area. But after probably the 1770s, things started to get a little bit better. Not much, but a little bit. The Native Americans still did lots of attacks in and throughout Greenbrier County, even in Monroe County. I talked about that in the last video too. But one of the things that was really popular in this county was, of course, the sulfur springs. Like in Monroe County, I mentioned them before. That brought people to the area. But then caves. Caves were mined for saltpeter, which was the basic for gunpowder for military. So the caves were mined for the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, even the Civil War. And right now, we are in the proximity of a little town called Organ Cave. Now, Organ Cave, I actually have toured this cave, many years ago, just up here on the right, Route 63, right there. So you could take Route 60, or right there, sorry about that. You could take Route 63, and it's a quicker route to White Sulphur Springs, where the Greenbrier is located. But, of course, I'm sticking on 219 because I want to go through Ronceverte, Fairley, and Lewisburg and give you all a tour this way. But if you want a quicker route, just go that way. But Organ Cave was just back there on the right on that same little road, and right now it's temporarily closed because the owners of the cave, they're doing some remodeling, some renovations and different things because, it needs it. Of course, not you can't remodel the cave itself, but for safety purposes, for opening it back up to tourists. The cave has a lot of history, actually uh, a Civil War history, but even more than that because some bones were found back when they were mining the saltpeter back in the 1700s. So these bones were found, and the people that dug them up when they were mining were like, we don't know what they are. So they sent them off to Thomas Jefferson, and basically it turned out to be a three-toed sloth. So that proves that three-toed sloths used to live in this area. I found that pretty interesting. But another thing that was interesting, especially with Organ Cave is that during the Civil War, of course the cave was still being used to mine for gunpowder. But during the Civil War, Confederate soldiers used that place as a place to hunker down, stay. They even had one time when Confederate General Robert E. Lee and his troops were inside the entrance of the cave and held like a church service. I thought that was pretty interesting information. The cave itself, you can I don't know. I've seen it listed several times saying, oh, it's the ninth largest cave or the second largest cave. So technically, it is the ninth largest cave on the East Coast. But it is supposed to be the second largest cave that is actually used as a tourist attraction. Uh, there are different people say different things and say, no, it's not, it's the third and whatever, but it is supposedly right now the second largest one used as a tourist attraction. Now, like I said, right now it is closed, but it will be opening back up soon. Or we can hope that it's opening back up soon. When you type it in Google, because I was trying to find out, it says it's permanently closed, but then there's a website that says that it's just closed for renovations. So I hope that's the case and it opens back up. There is another cave in Greenbrier County, Lost World Cave, on up past Lewisburg and to the left, or to the west, I should say. Or I say to the left, but to the west of Lewisburg, Lost World Caves, and it's another cave that is like a tourist attraction in the area. But Organ Cave, was in it 2 or 3 times when I was younger. And if I'm remembering right, the reason why it's called Organ Cave is that there is a stalactite that reminds you of a church organ. I vaguely remember that. Now there's some natural science stuff for you. Stalactites hang tight from the ceiling, and stalagmites basically come from the floor. Those are the formations inside of the cave. Anyway, I just figured I would throw in some science nerd stuff in here for you. So anyway, this video is about to end. I'm shutting it off before we hit Ronceverte. I'm doing a video on that, one on Fairleigh, Lewisburg, maybe a couple in Lewisburg, we'll see. And then I'm heading east. I think it's Route 60 or 61 to White Sulphur Springs for the Greenbrier. Then we will be done basically with my videos of this section of Greenbrier County. Don't worry, I will be back to Greenbrier County. I've got to do Alderson. I've got to do Smoot. I've got to do Smoot. I love a little story from that area. So I believe that's right there at the border of Greenbrier County, closer to Interstate 64 and east or west of there, like you're heading towards Beckley. But we'll be going into that area here shortly. So this is Angie from Tourangie.com. Come to my website, read my blogs, make appointments so I can help you plan your next travel adventure, whether it's a cruise, a road trip like I'm always doing through West Virginia, an all-inclusive vacation. I do it all. So talk to you all later.